Hey, welcome back. I hope you are all doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. You might notice I didn't make a, second video for the test of trying to make flame golems work in Soul Found. Uh, it got to me. It really got to me. You really need way too many jewels for it. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna put that on the back burner for now. And I was getting a little bit bored of the new league. Um, it's over a month in, so I think it's definitely in the top. I hope that it's more of a temporary kind of league. I don't think it needs to go core. I like the idea of each league giving us some sort of like borrowed power, but not necessarily giving it to us permanently. I think that's more healthy for the game. Just my opinion. So we have Torchlight coming out in a couple days. We have a brand new league, Lunaria. Lunaria is a music based, and it looks very similar to Legion in Path of Exile. It's basically you just break open a bunch of mobs. They come out, you fight them, you get loot, and then there's a bunch of different things that you can do with that. Um, with the musical instrument that you use to strum and break open everything. So pretty interesting. Looks like it could be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to it. However, with a new league, we get new patch notes. Now, I'm not the type to go through. I'm not going to go line by line. I'm not going to read everything because there's really no point. I'm just going to kind of highlight some stuff and go over the sections. And I don't want to make this too long, so let me try to speed things up and just kind of give you the TLDR, TDL. First things first, we got the new league mechanic. Like I said, it's very similar to Legion and Path of Exile. There's also a new crafting thing. Basically, memories. For those of you that don't know what memories are, uh, think about ascendancies in Path of Exile. Every single time you get points for your ascendancy, and in this game, instead of getting points for something like that, you have to get a memory, and it's just a socketable item that has some stats on it. Uh, and then you can manipulate those stats by rolling it over and over again, and you can buy higher quality versions, rarity versions, so on and so forth. And in this, they're going to add it to where there's a new line that you can use, which adds basically a massive bonus to your character. It looks to be most of them are character specific, or at least they take from the characters. I don't know if it's going to set it to be required by only that character, but it's going to be very obvious that some things are more dedicated towards certain characters. Um, with that being said, those are going to be extremely expensive. I don't imagine a lot of people will get those, especially because this isn't a super popular game to begin with. So we'll just see what happens. We have a new character. Her name is Scent Weaver Sage. She's a brand new character, not a derivative of another character like most of the leaks have been. Like lastly, we got I think it was Bing Two. Bing Two being the second Bing character. This one here is a brand new character, and she does a lot of things with elixirs and restoration skills and stuff like that. So it looks to be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people will bust it wide open and make a huge uh, builds with it. Um, yeah. Anyway, moving on, we have let's see here. Some legendary gear changes, some things to take note of. This first one I'm not super familiar with, but it has a lot to do with sentries. It looks to have been buffed. So anybody that does sentry builds, do pay attention to that. Warden's Breastpin, I think this is a nerf. I believe this is a nerf. Uh, it goes from passive to minion skills. I'm not sure. It could benefit certain builds if you use multiple minions. Um, but because of that, I think that's number one nerf. Number two, it removes the line that gives minion life, minion max life, which meant which is a big nerf to the Moto 2 builds because they want a lot of life on their minions. So that's another big nerf. And then the final one basically just takes it and stops it from being an item you need to corrupt. For those of you that may not know, in this game, corruption actually does a couple of different things. Number one, it can give a new implicit. Number two, it can completely re-roll the all the affixes. Number three, it could do nothing. Number four, it could actually hit one of the modifiers on the item itself. So when a legendary gets corrupted, it can go from, like say on this one, it could go from 2 passive skill levels to 3 passive skill levels, and so on and so forth. So it used to be your minions can only deal physical damage was on this, and that was it. And then you had to corrupt it to get the opposite, cannot deal physical damage or only deals element. I think it said cannot deal physical damage. Now it just rolls one of those lines below it, and erosion is actually added to it. That was not part of this amulet before. So it makes that a little bit easier to get. I don't think that this is a an item that should be on the tougher bosses in the game because it's usually on a planar boss. I believe it's the third guy. I can't remember the name of it. Um, I don't think you're gonna really want this. Uh, Except for maybe a transitional item. This would be something that if this is a natural drop in the world instead, or they lowered the tier level of this, it might be useful for a while. But there's going to be better options, including another thing that got completely changed just below here. This one's kind of interesting to me, just for the simple fact it's not really a used item, but they nerfed it, and I believe this is a pre-nerf to the fact that the new character utilizes elixirs slash restoration skills. I think that's what this is doing. I think it's a pre-nerf to that. Ralph's Journey, it just caps. They just cap the amount of movement speed you can get. Um, they nerfed Crimson King by about 50%. They brought it down a little bit less than that. Um, and then what do we got here? Iron Nest. This is the one I wanted to point out. This is a complete rework. I believe it's just a completely new item, so to speak. I think the command increases by 8 to 12 points is going to be the target. You want that to be the highest, and you want that to be probably corrupted. Uh, Unknown as to what the corruption will actually give. In this game, sometimes the corruption will just be an increase in the numerical value, and then other times it'll add an extra line like, oh, you now have 12 points per second and 3% increased damage or something like that. Um, or it sometimes even changes it to an actual talent tree node. There's a lot of things that they do with this stuff. We have no idea what this is gonna be, but once game goes live, we'll see what happens. The next line, additional damage when your command is 70 to 80. With this amulet, I think it could be very easy to get that much, because it's going to make up for some of the more expensive things you're going to have to do to the tree to get that. So I believe this is a big boon. The next line is really silly. It's negative. It's -20 to -20 command upper limit. That literally is just -20 to your command upper limit, which brings it down to 80 because your natural is 100. Okay. The only thing that's concerning is the command restoration speed. Might be something that needs to be corrupted. I don't know if that really matters because we go off of raw command increases. I don't know what this is gonna do. I this is one of those ones that it gets into the real nitty gritty of the technical side of things, and there's not a lot of English speaking things, like pages to look at or websites for me to really know how much that impacts. I don't know if it will. I do believe that this is going to be a strong, possibly end game item for a lot of minion builds. After that, feline steps got to reach completely reworked. It's now a lot of reaping stuff, duration, restoration speed, and you get deflection. Sure. Anything else? Oh, horn ring got kind of a nerf. They increased the minion damage. This is just increases. This is not additional. This is just increased damage. But they nerfed the crit rating and uh, the crit damage. Usually, when crit damage gets nerfed, it's a pretty big deal. I believe this is just an overall nerf to the item. I still don't think it's bad. It's still going to be utilized, especially early on for minion builds. Open Heart also got some changes. Nothing super noteworthy, just increased damage taken and damage dealt. So we got Double Rainbow. Double Rainbow has been changed in a pretty significant manner. I think it's going to be really good. I think this is something that I'm going to consider for my idea for a build coming up. Uh, all they really did was they increased the damage dealt and the damage taken by a little bit. Um, right here. So that's what they did. Anything else? Truth got a buff. Truth is a pretty powerful amulet. It gives you +4 to skill gems as well as a range, one stat, just a random one. It's either dex, strength, or int. Now they just gave it a buff. So like a 33% buff. Oh, there's that. The next thing I wanted to look at real quick. There's a lot of changes. This is pretty typical of this game. So there's so many things here that I'm missing that you guys, it may be a big deal, it may not. I just this is a side game for me, so I don't have the patience to scour all of this. Oracle Thea, Wisdom of the Gods. I think this is one of the lowest played characters in the game. It basically goes off of a lot of your blessings, which in this game is similar to charges in Path of Exile. Uh, you get all sorts of boons depending on which one you have or how many you have. I don't believe this one's played very often, so it might be interesting to see if this picks it up. Um, but the one that I want to point out is Divine Shot Lethal Flash. Lethal Flash Carino is a character that I made a build for a few leagues ago, and it did well. It was high damage. It wasn't very tanky, but it got the job done, and a lot of people liked it. I'd like to go back to Lethal Flash. I think I'm going to go back to Lethal Flash. So the whole gimmick behind that build was all about shotgunning. You needed skills that shotgunned to really get the damage. Now you don't need that anymore. There's a lot of different things here that was changed that could be very beneficial. Getting deflection in the build gives you a whole lot of extra damage. Um, Projectiles can jump to Terra. This is a funny word, like the funny terminology that they use here. That basically means the ground. Uh, so you can get this instead, or you can get which one is it? I think it was returning projectiles. You just get that in the build. That's something that was already in it, but now you get returning projectiles, which increases the range. That means it can actually go, you know, once it starts to return, it goes further and technically it goes behind you. So this is a pretty big deal. I think this is going to be really fun. If it doesn't work with the skill that I want to use, it's still going to be something to look at for ice shot or there's a lot of different skills you can use with this. So we're going to see what happens. There were some changes for some other stuff that I'm not going to be playing. Technically, I played Moto last league and Moto 2 the league before that, so I don't want to do another Moto. um, unless people are interested in it, there's going to be a lot of changes for Moto. Um, so here's some things that oh, not this. Something else. They moved the since the last time I looked at this, I actually made this video a couple days ago and then realized I screwed something up. They moved some stuff around, I think. I might be wrong though. Let me see if I can find what I was looking for. Oh, we got the skills. A lot of these skills really have to do with the new character. Distillate is a new keyword, I believe. Elixir is a new keyword, I believe. Um, but then we have module. The modular enemies are basically this game's attempt at specters from Path of Exile. So basically, you can get some of the enemies in the game as minions, and each one looks like to be four, four, four. You can get four from the base. I don't know if that should be increasable because it's got the synthetic troop tag. So that means that all this stuff is going to be scalable from synthetic troop modifiers, which means anything that says +1 to synthetic troop minions will give you more of these. So I think a lot of these are going to be really interesting to play around with. Uh, I think minion builds are eating good this league, so they're going to have some really cool stuff. Anything here, basically, we don't have. I don't think we have a uh, not a POB, but a database that's really that in depth. Um, but if somebody can figure out which one of these has the most life, natural life on it, that's gonna be the new Moto build, I bet you. Moto 2 build. I bet you that'll be the Moto 2 build. Whichever one here has has the highest life, as long as it's not a ranged character. If it's a ranged character, it may mess it up. Um, but that's what I'm garnering from this here. I think this would be pretty fun. Some other things. Chromatic shot. Um this is a lot of changes. Chromatic shot itself has an explosive damaging aspect to it, and they also changed it to also only select lightning, cold, and fire. It doesn't select physical or erosion anymore, which means that you can benefit from all of the ailments you can get. And the second one, both of these supports I think are going to be pretty important for chromatic shot, but I believe the second one is going to be pretty insane. If you can have a fast enough ability to constantly apply all of these elements or have other ways of involving elements um, or ailments, you're going to always have that 52% additional damage, which is insane amount of damage. The top one as well is going to be really good. Uh, Projectile speed is a scalable thing. Get a lot of damage from that. You got things like wind projectiles or whatever it's called. So yeah, there's also a lot of support gems for the new modular creatures. So you have all of that. So the bottom line, minions eating good. Uh, New character looks interesting. Not sure how powerful she's going to be. Uh, Lethal shot got some good changes, and I think or lethal flash. I think I'm going to do lethal flash this league, and I'm going to probably do chromatic shot. If I do, I think it's going to be dual wands. Um, However, if it ever needs to get tankier, it may go to two wand or one wand and a shield. We'll see what I come up with there. But that's what I'm going to do, and for any of you that have ideas of how to scale this or to build this, if you have any tips and tricks, throw them out because I don't know. I've never done a spellcaster version of him, so it'd be interesting to see. Um, and yeah, in 2 days, I will see you all either here or at Twitch, wherever you want to watch, and you can come hang out. We could build characters, and this will be our temporary league, temporary game until Path of Exile 2's information comes out. We find out if the next league is enticing enough, and we move over to that. And then we play that for a while until Path of Exile 1's next league. And then we do this rotation until the end of time. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget to like, share, sub, whatever. And I will catch you all later. Take care.